First contact. The shuttle docked with the alien space station, and the council gathered to greet their human visitors. As the airlock doors hissed open, Captain Ariel Liu emerged, flanked by her first officer, Commander Samir Patel, and the ship's chief diplomat, Ambassador Lena Novak. Xyloth stepped forward, extending a slender, four-fingered hand in greeting. "Welcome, Captain Liu, to the Galactic Council's space station. I am High Counselor Xyloth, and these are my fellow counselors." Liu grasped Xyloth's hand firmly, a gesture that seemed to surprise the alien leader. "Thank you, High Counselor. It is an honor to be here, representing the United Earth Federation. We come with the hope of fostering understanding and cooperation between our peoples." As the introductions continued, the counselors couldn't help but marvel at the humans' appearance. They were bipedal like many of the council's species, but their skin tones ranged from pale to deep brown, and their facial features were diverse and expressive. The humans wore form-fitting uniforms in shades of blue and gray, adorned with intricate insignias and badges. Ambassador Novak stepped forward, her warm smile putting the counselors at ease. "We understand that our arrival may have come as a surprise," she said, her voice gentle but confident. "Please, let us sit down together and share our stories. We have much to learn from one another." Xyloth nodded, gesturing towards a nearby conference room. "Of course, Ambassador. Please, follow me. We have prepared refreshments for our meeting, and we are eager to hear about your journey and your people." As the humans and aliens made their way to the conference room, they began to share stories of their respective worlds and cultures. The humans spoke of Earth, a vibrant planet teeming with life and diversity, while the counselors described the myriad species and civilizations that made up the Galactic Council. Throughout the meeting, the counselors were impressed by the humans' advanced technology, particularly their ability to translate and speak Galactic Common with such fluency. Liu explained that their ship, the Thunderchild, was equipped with state-of-the-art translation devices that allowed them to communicate with any species they encountered. As the meeting drew to a close, Xyloth raised a toast to the newfound friendship between their peoples. "To the United Earth Federation and the Galactic Council," he said, his voice filled with hope and optimism. "May our alliance bring peace and prosperity to the galaxy." The humans and aliens clinked their glasses together, sealing the bond between their civilizations. Little did they know that their newfound friendship would soon be put to the test, as a grave threat loomed on the horizon. The Thunderchild. The alien counselors were eager to learn more about the humans and their incredible ship, the Thunderchild. Captain Liu invited them aboard for a tour, an offer they accepted with a mix of excitement and trepidation. As the counselors stepped onto the Thunderchild's bridge, they were awestruck by the advanced technology that surrounded them. Holographic displays flickered with real-time data, and the crew moved about their stations with practiced efficiency. Liu guided them through the ship, pointing out the various sections and explaining their functions. The counselors marveled at the Thunderchild's powerful engines, capable of propelling the massive vessel through the void at incredible speeds. They were equally impressed by the ship's advanced medical facilities, where human doctors worked alongside AI assistants to treat a wide range of ailments. But it was the Thunderchild's armory that truly left the counselors speechless. As they entered the cavernous room, they were greeted by the sight of rows upon rows of gleaming weapons, from sleek plasma rifles to massive rail guns. Valara, the counselor who had expressed concerns about the humans' potential for aggression, turned to Liu with a wary eye. "Captain," she said, her voice tight with apprehension, "why does a ship of peace and exploration need such a formidable arsenal?" Liu's expression grew somber, and she gestured for the counselors to follow her to a nearby conference room. Once they were seated, she began to explain. "Counselors," she said, her voice heavy with the weight of her words, "the universe is not always a peaceful place. In our travels, we have encountered many wonders, but also many dangers. One of the gravest threats we have faced is the Vorax Empire." The counselors exchanged glances, their faces etched with concern. They had heard whispers of the Vorax, a ruthless and expansionist civilization that had conquered countless worlds. Liu continued, "The Vorax are unlike any foe we have ever encountered. They are technologically advanced, militarily powerful, and utterly merciless. They conquer without regard for the lives they destroy, enslaving entire species and stripping planets of their resources." The counselors listened in horrified silence as Liu recounted the tales of the Vorax's atrocities. She spoke of worlds burned to cinders, of civilizations erased from existence, and of the countless lives lost to their relentless advance. "We built the Thunderchild to defend against the Vorax," Liu explained, her voice firm with conviction. "Our weapons are a last resort, a means to protect ourselves and our allies from their aggression. We hope never to use them, but we must be prepared for the worst." The counselors nodded solemnly, understanding the gravity of the situation. They too had heard the stories of the Vorax's cruelty, and the thought of facing such a foe sent shivers down their spines. Xyloth, his face lined with concern, turned to Liu. "Captain," he said, his voice heavy with emotion, "the Galactic Council has always stood for peace and cooperation. But in the face of such a threat, we cannot stand idly by. If the Vorax come to our shores, we will stand with you against them." Liu smiled, her eyes shining with gratitude and determination. "Thank you, High Counselor. Together, we will face whatever challenges lie ahead." The United Earth Federation and the Galactic Council, united in the cause of peace and freedom. The counselors nodded, their resolve strengthened by Liu's words. They knew that the road ahead would be difficult, but with the humans by their side, they felt a glimmer of hope for the future. Dangerous revelations. As the tour of the Thunderchild continued, the alien counselors grew increasingly uneasy. The sheer scale and power of the human ship was unlike anything they had ever encountered, and the revelations about the Vorax Empire weighed heavily on their minds. Liu led them to a secure conference room, where she dimmed the lights and activated a holographic display. The counselors gasped as a star map materialized before them, dotted with red markers that indicated Vorax-controlled systems. "This is the extent of the Vorax Empire," Liu explained, her voice grim. "They have conquered dozens of systems, enslaving or exterminating the native populations. Their fleet is vast and powerful, and they show no signs of slowing their expansion." The counselors studied the map, their faces etched with horror and disbelief. The Vorax Empire spanned a significant portion of the galaxy, and their territory was perilously close to the Galactic Council's borders. Valara, her silver eyes wide with fear, turned to Liu. "Captain," she said, her voice trembling, "how have you managed to resist the Vorax? Surely, a civilization with such military might would have conquered Earth long ago." Liu's expression hardened, and she tapped a series of commands into the holographic interface. The display shifted, revealing a planet that had been reduced to a barren, lifeless husk. "This was the planet Xanthos," Liu said, her voice heavy with sorrow. It was a thriving world, home to a peaceful civilization that had just begun to explore the stars. The Vorax came without warning, their ships darkening the skies. In a matter of days, they had reduced Xanthos to a smoking ruin, its people enslaved or slaughtered. The counselors stared at the image, their hearts heavy with the weight of the tragedy. They had heard stories of the Vorax's cruelty, but to see the evidence of their destruction firsthand was a sobering experience. Liu continued, "The United Earth Federation learned of the Vorax threat through the survivors of Xanthos. We knew that if we did not prepare, Earth would suffer the same fate. We poured our resources into building ships like the Thunderchild, equipped with the most advanced weapons and defenses our scientists could devise." The counselors nodded, understanding the humans' motivation for creating such formidable warships. The Vorax were a threat unlike any they had ever faced, and the Galactic Council's defenses seemed woefully inadequate in comparison. Xyloth, his face lined with concern, turned to his fellow counselors. My friends, he said, his voice heavy with the weight of his words, we cannot ignore the threat of the Vorax any longer. The humans have shown us the true extent of their power, and we must act to protect our people. The counselors murmured in agreement, their resolve strengthening in the face of the impending danger. They knew that they would need the humans' help to stand against the Vorax, but some still harbored doubts about the wisdom of allying with such a powerful and unfamiliar species. Valara, her silver eyes narrowed in suspicion, voiced her concerns. High Counselor, she said, her voice firm, how can we be certain that the humans will not turn their weapons against us? They possess technology and military might far beyond our own, and we have only just met them. Liu, her expression calm and assured, addressed Valara's concerns. Counselor Valara, she said, her voice filled with conviction, the United Earth Federation seeks only peace and cooperation. Our weapons are a shield, not a sword. We have no desire to conquer or subjugate, only to protect and defend. The counselors exchanged glances, weighing Liu's words against their own fears and doubts. They knew that the decision they made would shape the future of the Galactic Council and the fate of countless lives. Xyloth, his voice steady and resolute, made his decision. Captain Liu, he said, his eyes locked with hers, the Galactic Council will stand with the United Earth Federation against the Vorax threat. We will forge an alliance built on trust, respect, and a shared commitment to peace. Liu smiled, her eyes shining with gratitude and determination. Thank you, High Counselor. Together, we will face the challenges ahead and build a brighter future for all our peoples. The counselors nodded, their resolve strengthened by Xyloth's words. They knew that the road ahead would be difficult, but with the humans by their side, they felt a glimmer of hope for the future. Tensions and doubts. As word of the humans' arrival and their powerful ship spread throughout the Galactic Council, tensions began to rise. Some factions within the Council saw the humans as a potential threat. Their advanced technology and military might a cause for concern rather than celebration. The Council chamber was in an uproar, with various representatives voicing their opinions and fears. Some argued that the humans should be welcomed as allies, their strength a valuable asset in the face of the Vorax threat. Others, however, were more cautious, urging restraint and further investigation before committing to an alliance. Valara, the counselor who had expressed doubts about the humans from the beginning, stood to address the chamber. My fellow counselors, she said, her voice ringing with conviction, we cannot rush into an alliance with the humans without fully understanding their motives and capabilities. Their ship, the Thunderchild, is a weapon of immense power. How can we be sure they will not turn it against us? Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber as some counselors nodded in support of Valara's words. Others, however, were quick to counter her arguments. Counselor Xyloth, who had been a vocal advocate for the human alliance, stood to address the chamber. Counselors, he said, his voice calm and measured, I understand your concerns, but we must not let fear cloud our judgment. The humans have shown us nothing but goodwill and a desire for cooperation. They have shared their knowledge and technology freely, and they have offered their assistance in the face of the Vorax threat. The chamber erupted in a flurry of debate, with counselors arguing back and forth about the merits and risks of an alliance with the humans. Some called for caution, while others argued that the Galactic Council could not afford to turn away such a powerful potential ally. As the debate raged on, Captain Liu and her crew watched from the sidelines, their expressions a mix of concern and determination. They knew that the fate of their alliance with the Galactic Council hung in the balance, and that the decision made in this chamber would have far-reaching consequences for both their peoples. Ambassador Novak, seeing the growing tension and uncertainty in the chamber, stepped forward to address the counselors. Esteemed members of the Galactic Council, she said, her voice calm and reassuring, I understand your concerns and your desire to protect your people. The United Earth Federation shares those same goals. We seek only to build bridges of understanding and cooperation, to stand together against the darkness that threatens us all. The chamber fell silent as the counselors listened to Novak's words, her sincerity and conviction evident in every syllable. She spoke of the shared values and aspirations that bound their peoples together, of the common hopes and dreams that transcended the vast distances of space. "We are not so different, you and I," Novak continued, her eyes sweeping the chamber. "We all desire peace, prosperity, and a brighter future for our children. The Vorax threaten those dreams, and we cannot face them alone. Only together, united in purpose and resolve, can we hope to overcome the challenges that lie ahead." The counselors exchanged glances, their expressions softening as they considered Novak's words. Many began to nod in agreement, their doubts and fears giving way to a growing sense of hope and determination. Xyloth, seizing the moment, stood once more to address the chamber. "Ambassador Novak speaks the truth," he said, his voice ringing with conviction. "The humans are not our enemies, but our friends and allies. We must set aside our differences and work together to build a future of peace and cooperation. The Vorax will not wait for us to resolve our doubts, and we cannot afford to hesitate." The chamber erupted in applause as the majority of counselors voiced their support for Xyloth's words. Even Valara, her silver eyes shining with a newfound respect, nodded in agreement. Captain Liu, her heart swelling with pride and gratitude, stepped forward to address the council. "Counselors," she said, her voice filled with emotion, "the United Earth Federation is honored by your trust and your friendship. Together, we will face the challenges ahead, and together, we will build a brighter future for all our peoples." The counselors rose to their feet, their applause thundering through the chamber. The alliance between the Galactic Council and the United Earth Federation was sealed, a bond forged in the face of adversity and strengthened by the power of hope and unity. But even as they celebrated, a dark shadow loomed on the horizon. The Vorax, ever watchful and ever hungry, had taken notice of the growing alliance between the humans and the Galactic Council. They would not let this challenge to their power go unanswered, and they would stop at nothing to crush those who dared to stand against them. The Vorax arrive. The celebration of the newfound alliance between the Galactic Council and the United Earth Federation was short-lived. Just as the counselors and human delegates were toasting to a future of peace and cooperation, a shrill alarm pierced the air, shattering the moment of triumph. Captain Liu, her expression grim, rushed to the nearest comm station. "Report," she barked, her voice sharp with urgency. The voice of the Thunderchild's tactical officer crackled over the comm. "Captain, long-range sensors have detected a massive fleet of Vorax warships entering the system. They're on a direct course for the Council's homeworld." The counselors exchanged looks of horror and disbelief, their faces draining of color. The Vorax, it seemed, had been watching and waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Liu turned to face the counselors, her expression a mix of determination and concern. "Counselors," she said, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation, "the Vorax have come. We must act quickly to defend your world and your people." Xyloth, his face etched with worry, turned to Liu. "Captain," he said, his voice trembling slightly, "our defenses are no match for the Vorax fleet. We have never faced a threat of this magnitude before." Liu nodded, her eyes blazing with resolve. "I understand, High Counselor, but you are not alone." The Thunderchild and Liu nodded, her eyes blazing with resolve. "I understand, High Counselor, but you are not alone. The Thunderchild and her crew stand ready to defend your world and your people. We will not let the Vorax prevail." The counselors, their fears momentarily replaced by a surge of hope and determination, nodded in agreement. They knew that the humans were their best chance of survival, and they were ready to stand and fight alongside their new allies. As the Vorax fleet approached, the Thunderchild and the Galactic Council's ships moved to intercept them. The human vessel, its sleek hull bristling with advanced weaponry, took point, ready to take on the brunt of the enemy's assault. The Vorax ships, their hulls a sickly green and their weapons glowing with malevolent energy, opened fire, their salvos of plasma and missiles streaking towards the Allied fleet. The Thunderchild's shields flared to life, absorbing the brunt of the impact, while the Council's ships returned fire with their own weapons. The battle raged on, the void of space lit up by the flashes of exploding ships and the searing beams of energy weapons. The Thunderchild, its crew working with perfect coordination and skill, danced through the enemy fire, its own weapons tearing through the Vorax ships with ruthless efficiency. Captain Liu, her face illuminated by the glow of the tactical displays, barked orders to her crew, her voice steady and confident despite the chaos of the battle. She knew that the fate of the Galactic Council, and perhaps the entire galaxy, rested on the outcome of this fight. As the battle reached its climax, the Vorax flagship, a massive vessel bristling with weapons and armor, emerged from the heart of the enemy fleet. Its commander, a cruel and ruthless warlord known as Kraz, sneered at the Allied ships, his voice dripping with contempt. "Surrender now," Kraz bellowed, his words carried across the void by the flagship's powerful comm systems. "And I may spare your pathetic lives. Resist, and you will be crushed beneath the might of the Vorax Empire." Liu, her eyes narrowing with determination, responded with a barrage of fire from the Thunderchild's main guns. The flagship's shields flared and buckled under the assault, and Kraz's sneer turned to a snarl of rage. The two ships, the Thunderchild and the Vorax flagship, squared off against each other, trading blows in a furious duel. The human ship, its hull scorched and battered but still intact, poured everything it had into the fight, its crew pushing themselves to the limits of their endurance. In the end, it was Liu's tactical brilliance and the skill and courage of her crew that turned the tide. With a final desperate salvo, the Thunderchild's weapons found a weak point in the flagship's defenses, and the massive vessel exploded in a blinding flash of light. The Vorax fleet, demoralized and leaderless, broke and fled, their ships scattering in all directions. The Allied fleet, battered but victorious, let out a cheer that echoed across the stars. On the bridge of the Thunderchild, Liu slumped back in her chair, exhausted but triumphant. She turned to her crew, her eyes shining with pride and gratitude. "You did it," she said, her voice filled with emotion. "You saved the Galactic Council, and you showed the Vorax that they're not invincible. I couldn't be more proud of each and every one of you." The crew, their faces beaming with pride and relief, cheered and clapped, their shouts of joy filling the bridge. On the Council's homeworld, the news of the victory spread like wildfire. The councilors, their faces filled with awe and gratitude, gathered to welcome the humans as heroes and saviors. Xyloth, his eyes brimming with tears of joy, embraced Liu, his words filled with emotion. "Captain," he said, his voice trembling with gratitude, "we owe you and your crew a debt that can never be repaid. You have saved our world and our people, and you have given us hope for a brighter future." Liu, her own eyes filling with tears, returned the embrace. "High Counselor," she said, her voice filled with warmth and sincerity, "we are honored to have fought alongside you and your people. The United Earth Federation and the Galactic Council are now more than just allies. We are friends and brothers in arms." As the celebrations continued, the alliance between the two peoples grew stronger and deeper. The humans shared their technology and knowledge freely, helping the Council to rebuild and strengthen their defenses. The counselors, in turn, welcomed human diplomats and traders, eager to learn more about their new friends and partners. And though the Vorax threat remained, looming like a dark shadow on the horizon, the Galactic Council and the United Earth Federation faced the future with newfound hope and determination. They knew that, together, they could face any challenge and overcome any obstacle. For in the face of adversity and danger, they had discovered the true power of unity and friendship. And with that power, they would build a brighter tomorrow for all the peoples of the galaxy. The end.